Friday take, no Luke Sanders. He went home for the weekend, hadn't seen his family in a little bit, so he decided to go home. But we got Jordan Riley and added probably an improvement to the show today, and Sean Nienow.
That's some high praise. First question, how does he get to leave, like, on a Thursday, Friday morning? I mean,
his class got canceled on Friday, and he said, I'm out of here.
It's a good plan. It's a good plan, then.
Not that Luke was going to go to class anyways. It's just another excuse for him not to go to class. So, I want to thank Sean for coming in this early morning. I know you were at KXCV before this anyway, so you've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. So
4:30. I didn't get up that early, so yeah, it's a good day. Got a lot of energy, but there's also a lot of sports to talk about.
Yes, there is. So we're going to start with Bearcat sports. Of course, the football team won last week. Close game versus Central Oklahoma. Offense struggled a bit there versus the Broncos. 17-10 win. They're at home for Military Appreciation Day. The jerseys and helmets were all pretty sweet there for that game. But they really struggled. So we'll move on to this week. They played Northeastern State, and to put it lightly, they are awful. No really other way to put it. I mean, I looked up their stats for this year, and I know they put it in the paper, but the worst thing Northwest does is rush the ball. They're ranked 88th in the nation in that. The best thing Northeastern State does is pass the ball, and they're ranked 96th in the nation. They're in the bottom 10 in the nation in Division II. 168 teams. They're in the bottom 10 in scoring offense, rushing offense, scoring defense, total defense, and rushing defense. They're just all around awful as a team right now. So we'll see if Northwest gets something going on offense a little bit to kind of get some momentum going into the rest of the season, kind of like the Missouri Southern game, see if they can't just get up early and just stay healthy. Because right now, Bain's still a little bit banged up. Shaden Williams coming back from injury. Emmanuel Jones still trying to come back from his hamstring injury from week 1. So I think they're just trying to get healthy right now. One good thing about this team this week, it's after 6 weeks, so they get guard Miles McIntyre and linebacker Jared Bishop back from their suspensions. So they'll be back this week, so it's going to be nice to add some depth in the offensive line, and the linebacker core just got even better.
I was like, they don't really need any help. They've been holding it down the entire year. But just to get him back, I mean, he's been part of this team for years, so it's good to have him back. And, is he which position? I can't make it.
Middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker, okay, that's good.
Or just linebacker. I mean, he played next to Volstead last couple of years, and they were both really good.
Well, yeah.
So I know he's been practicing with the team. I know a few weeks ago they always do their scout team of the week, and he was on there for defense. I'm like,
interesting.
Yeah. He can just fly around the ball, so even more speed to that linebacker core, which is already insanely fast. So we'll see what happens there. Not much else to really say about that game because
hopefully there isn't much to say about it.
I hope not.
I hope it's a travel down, get the win. There's no injuries, travel back type of situation. Because while there was another coach in the MIAA who made a quote, he said, "We are a JV squad playing a varsity schedule in the toughest conference in the nation." And now that was correct me if I'm wrong. Denver Johnson.
Yes, Missouri Southern.
The Missouri Southern coach was like, "Wow, that's some and I mean, at least
it was a great quote."
He does know where his team is, but I mean,
I think he said JV. I think he said JV roster because he plays a lot of freshmen and sophomore, and they're a really young team.
Yeah, it's not saying hey, our players aren't good, but I mean, if they don't have the time that say other teams had that have had time to build up for years and years and years, and I mean,
and he just got hired, I think, in April to be their head coach, so he missed pretty much most of his recruiting and signing day and stuff like that. So he's behind the 8 ball a little bit. And he is the same coach that after they lost 63-0 to the Bearcats, he came back to the next press conference. It was right after that Rick Pitino stuff came out. He's like, well, we just lost 63-0, and at least I'm not Rick Pitino. So.
Yeah. And, I don't know, this game, I don't expect it to be close. And last year, this squad was the team that did score the most on the Northwest defense. And so it'll be interesting to see how the defense kind of responds. I mean, yes, it was, the game was out of hand before they kept scoring, but it was still
big plays by Northeastern. They just kind of throw it up and just hope someone comes down with the ball. So we'll see what happens there with the Bearcats there on Saturday. Not much else to say about that game. But other games happening this weekend. Everybody else is on the road. Volleyball team is at Pittsburgh State tonight, Friday the 13th. They are playing at Pitt State, 6 p.m. For the start of that game. Soccer is down at Northeastern State at 7 o'clock. So they have a long trip down there to Oklahoma. I think they went down last night because I have a friend.
That's a smart idea.
And she's like, we just took a 6-hour bus ride. It was awful. In the middle of nowhere down there in the middle of Oklahoma. And then Saturday, of course, 2 o'clock kickoff for the football game at Northeastern State. And then volleyball is playing at Central Oklahoma at 7. So most of the schools are down there in the Oklahoma area, Pitt State areas. And then the soccer team is at Central Oklahoma at 1 o'clock on Sundays. So a lot of things happening there. And then women's golf on Monday, Tuesday at Lindenwood for a fall invitational. So good luck to the golf team over there. And then, of course, we'll have more road soccer games next weekend, but home volleyball next weekend. So finally, they'll be back.
Call another volleyball game.
Yeah, we've only had 2 home volleyball games all year. We only got to call one of them. Yeah.
Really? Only 2?
Yeah, they've been on the road all year. And the second home volleyball game was the Saturday of the Fall Classic, so no one was in town. So hopefully we get back to home and they can play in front of an actual crowd here at Bearcat Arena. The new Bearcat Arena with the new floor and stuff, it looks really good. So
It's beautiful.
it is beautiful. It's really nice there on campus. So that's really, if you have anything else to add for Bearcat sports, there's not a whole lot going on right now that we can really talk about because everybody's on the road this week. So that's going to be it. Also, Maryville football, they play tonight. KNWT Channel 8 is going to have the game. It's going to be Max Moore and Joseph Andrews on the call. Probably should mention that they play Lafayette tonight. Maryville's going for their 50th straight home win, and Lafayette's going for a share of the conference title there in the MEC. So a big game tonight down there over the pound, whatever they call it there for the Spoof Hounds. So good luck to the team down there. KNWT Channel 8, I think this will be on Facebook Live as well. When we come back, we're going to talk some NBA. We haven't got the NBA at all this year on the show, but the season starts next Tuesday, so we're going to start with that next here on Friday Take. How's everybody doing this morning? I am Devin Albertson for Friday Take, joined by Jordan Riley and Sean Nienow today. We kicked Luke out of the studio. Actually, not really. Went home to his family. So we're going to talk about the NBA now. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. We're going to do a little bit of a preview here to see what we expect out of the East and who we expect to come out of it to go to the NBA Finals. I think it's pretty obvious. We kind of talked about in the break who the best 2 teams are in the East with Boston and Cleveland. I think Boston will probably finish with a better regular season record, but I think Cleveland will get them in the playoffs again for the second straight year. That's just my opinion as a unbiased LeBron fan.
Unbiased. I don't think there's anything such as an unbiased LeBron fan.
Besides, come on.
But I mean, just
He's not wrong.
looking at like the East, there's a clear team to win the Central. There's a clear team to win the Atlantic, and then I saw the Southeast. I was like, I think the Wizards are going to win. I don't really know because
watch out for the Heat.
I mean, maybe the Hornets if they can kind of get stuff together, but
yeah, that Southeast division is really bad.
I mean, yeah, someone's going to get the okay. Does the 3 seed have to be the team that wins the Southeast?
It's just straight standings.
And then so that's at least good to know. Not that the
I have Washington getting the 3 seed.
I think that's fair as well. But the East is bad.
You do the John Wall, baby.
That's fine. He can do the John Wall. He's going to get knocked out by either Boston or Cleveland, and that team has a pretty good chance to lose to whichever team comes out of the West. Because there's a very big difference between the East this year and even the East last year and the East this year in the West.
Yes, definitely. My playoff teams for the East, I have Boston as the 1 seed, Cleveland the 2, the Wizards the 3 seed, the Bucks at the 4 seed, the Heat at the 5, the Raptors at the 6, the Pistons at the 7, and 8 seed this year. We were trusting the process. The Philadelphia 76ers, hoping Embiid stays healthy. Also because I have Ben Simmons in the Rookie of the Year, so I think he's going to help lead the 76ers to a playoffs.
Can Joel Embiid get Rookie of the Year this year?
No, he was up for last year. He played too many games last year.
Oh, darn. Okay.
He's only played 31 games in his career.
Can he get Most Improved?
Most Improved from a health aspect.
No, that's fair.
I love Embiid, but guy needs to stay healthy. Ben Simmons, I think he's going to play really well this year. Philadelphia, they have the 8th seed, and they lose to Boston in the playoffs. But it could be interesting to see how they match up, at least with Boston, with the way Philadelphia designed their roster with 18 bigs.
Yeah. How bad is Chicago going to be?
Oh, okay. I have the odds up from Odds Shark. They are a 22-win team, over/under, which is 3 games worse than the Atlanta Hawks, and 5 games worse than the Brooklyn Nets and the Sacramento Kings.
That's going to be horrible. I mean, not a lot of stuff to do, they got rid of Wade. Derrick Rose was never, he was in New York. He's been gone for a while. I mean,
But they traded Butler away.
Yeah, he's now.
Rondo's gone.
Levine's hurt, so that didn't help him much anyway.
No. So is the other guy they brought in with that trade. Dunn. He's hurt. Markkinen. Good luck.
I mean, hey, if he can pan out to
I
something,
like
like,
Markkinen.
Yeah, Mirtic. Robin Lopez.
man, they're really like reaching to the bottom of the basket to just try and win
I saw
games.
a fake Sports Center thing. It said Robin Lopez. Like, I looked around and I say, "Am I the most talented guy here?" Oh crap!
No joke.
Yeah.
So that's not a good thing for the Bulls there, as the bottom three teams in the East, according to OddsShark, is the Nets, Hawks, and Bulls. The Hawks had like a decade straight of making the playoffs. That will not happen this year. Their roster is really bad outside of Dennis Schroeder. And he's an okay point guard. So good luck there with Atlanta. The Knicks, they have them at 30 wins. Indiana 31. Orlando 33. They have Detroit at 38, and then 41 and above for everyone else. They have the 76ers at 41 wins.
That's a lot of wins for a team that hasn't stayed healthy.
And 42 for Charlotte.
Hey.
Seems like quite a bit, but they trust Kimball Walker, I guess, there. And I guess they think MJ's going to come out on the court and play a couple games.
They got Dwight.
Yeah, I was like,
No, they do have Dwight. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there with... Yeah, they gave Atlanta nothing for Dwight Howard. Like, hey, here's some spare parts,
Have
Marco
him.
It's
Bellinelli.
about what he's worth.
Okay, he's not that bad. I don't think he's great anymore, but he's not... Are they trading him for the equivalent of, like, what Roy Hibbert was traded for? It's like, come on, guys.
Every team he's been on has just gotten rid of him. In the last, 5 years.
They can't handle it. Okay, he's not as bad as Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert did get traded for a protected second-round pick. That's just sad, if you're traded for a protected second-round pick. So, anything in the East that you see as a surprise team, like Orlando or some crazy stuff making the playoffs out there in the East?
I mean, I hope the 76ers and the Bucks can make it because I think they have some of the best young talent in the East. So I think that'll be exciting. But other than that, I mean, I think teams are going to get beaten up, and when they have to play each other, like, oh, these teams are close. I wonder what's going to happen. Then they play the top teams, they get beaten, or they play half the teams in the West, and it's just not close.
It's fair.
Maybe New York. If I mean they have
to get things together though, because
God.
I mean, yeah, but he's also hurt a little bit right now. So
Yeah, his hip.
well they got better by getting rid of Carmelo and Derrick Rose.
Their chemistry will be a lot better.
Their chemistry, yeah, they might not be as
won't be
Not
as-
talent-wise.
They won't be as
but
talented, but
yeah.
the whole cohesion thing will be a lot better with them. If they just get guys who can just play with
Porzingis knows
Porzingis.
it's his team now, so he's not gonna have to worry about.
There's a clear direction for this team to the future. That's a good thing to see. And hopefully they get
And they got that French dude in the draft, and he's pretty good.
the point guard. I have no idea how to say his name, but
His name's Frank.
Frank, yes,
Frank
Frank in.
Yeah,
Frank in.
he's good, and he's really long.
They're really just putting together an all European basketball team there in New York. And it's
world team. Yeah.
all world team. It's all right. We're fine with it. We'll go to the West real quick. Everybody pretty much thinks Golden State's going to win the West, be the top seed there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's no reason they shouldn't be.
They're still really good.
I mean, if they don't win the West, or at least if they
If
don't
they didn't win the
their
West, because
division,
KD, Curry, and probably and Clay all got hurt
yeah, other than that, I mean,
at the same time.
they're
Same play.
they could be better than last year, which is even scarier to say because I didn't think they could get better from the year before. And then they added Kevin Durant, and I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the Rockets, maybe the Thunder, but that's if they come together and it,
My top four seeds I have is Golden State, Rockets, Spurs, and Thunder. Because the Spurs always win games with minimal talent. Makes no sense, but they're always like, hey, we won 55 games. What up?
Yeah.
What up? Get the 3 seed.
Yeah, I mean they'll do that, but I mean,
The way I have the playoffs right now, the 5 seed have the T-Wolves, so an OKC, Minnesota
That's a very
first round matchup
interesting
is really
game. Well,
interesting.
I mean, I guess there's not really another team that sticks out that's going to get that 5 spot. And I don't think the Clippers think they're going to fall off. The Lakers way too far away.
They still have
I like the Clippers.
They had the Clippers at 43.5 wins, which is 7th, I think, where it was in the 7th best in the West.
Well, I mean, they still didn't give them the 5 spot or the 6 spot.
I know.
Hopefully.
They actually had the 6th spot for the Denver Nuggets.
Oh.
45.5 wins for them.
That's a team flying under the radar because I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything about them. So that's a thing to watch out for.
They have Portland at 42.5. I like Portland a lot. So.
Utah, I guess the Northwest is actually really good.
Yes.
Now that I'm looking
Bunch of
at
solid teams out there.
I mean, I think all of those teams could win over 5. Well, okay, maybe not the Jazz, but I hate word.
The Jazz, they have it right at 41 wins.
So all of those teams could go over 500. I don't think that'd be, that it will happen. But it wouldn't surprise me that at the end of the year that any of these teams could be in the playoffs.
They're definitely there with that. My bottom four, my seats in the West pretty much is Golden State, Houston, San Antonio, OKC, Minnesota. I have Portland at 6, Denver at 7, and the Pelicans sneaking out that 8 seed.
Do you not have LA in the playoffs?
I don't think they're that good. And Blake Griffin can't stay healthy.
I-
They've lost their top 2 guards with CP3 and JJ Redick.
The guy that foreign guy that they just
Milo?
signed, yeah, Theodore, he's good.
He was good in Europe, yes.
Have you seen him in the preseason?
I don't watch much preseason
Well,
basketball.
You watch D-League, but you don't watch preseason?
Yes.
That's a shame. He's been putting up numbers.
It's also G League now. Let's get right. It's Gatorade League.
Well, okay, it was, and then it will be the G League.
They got the better end of that Chris Paul deal. They got Lou.
Did they?
They got Lou Williams. They ended up being able to sign the foreign guy because Chris Paul's gone. They got Lou Williams. I mean, they got players that can play on that team. That's not just for one player. Lou Williams is one of the best scorers off the bench in the league.
That's true.
Which they need because they lost Jamal Crawford and J.J. Redick.
Where'd Crawford go to?
To Minnesota, maybe?
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They lost their top 3 guards from last year's team, though. So we'll see what happens there. They still have DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin down low. Not really sure who they have the 3 spot right now, but it should be interesting to see how
It was Gallinari, but he's hurt.
Oh, yeah, they get Gallinari, didn't they? So we'll see what happens. Once he gets back, they could, depending on how long it takes, he might be able to come back to the Clippers. I'm just not.
I like the Clippers to make the playoffs.
And also the
this year.
Pelicans, also depending on them not trading DeMarcus Cousins away midway through the year. Because if they trade DeMarcus Cousins, they're not making the playoffs. I do worry about the Pelicans, though, because their guard play is not great.
They got Rondo, which I was excited for, but then he's hurt now. So I don't know how many games he's going to be able to play this year.
Yep, so it'd be interesting to see how everything works out in the West with all those teams. Should be fun, the Wild West. I mean, a bunch of solid teams trying to reload to try to catch Golden State, and it's really, I don't know how it's going to work, but
I mean, as
They're
long
gonna
as
try.
the Warriors don't get hurt, they shouldn't. They should win 70 games.
they got 67.5.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow, that's a lot of wins.
yeah.
They have Houston at second at 55 wins.
That's a 12-win difference for a 1 and a 2 seed in the West. That's
They also have Boston 55.5, so
okay. So I mean, those teams are comparable in a sense, but I mean that just shows how good the Golden State could be.
and Houston's probably a 60-plus win team in the East. The
Yeah.
55-win team in the West, just because of the
I
difficulty
mean,
of
Golden
schedule.
State might win 77 games if they played in the East.
Only if they lose the crossover game to the West every once in a while.
Oh, that's fair.
That's the only time they would lose, maybe to Cleveland, maybe to Boston.
Maybe.
They don't play Milwaukee great. I'll say that. Milwaukee is so long, they always give Golden State trouble.
Boston beat him last year, too.
Yeah. Because they have weird matchups with certain teams. They just never play those teams because those teams are good enough to be other teams. So, and then say they wouldn't beat them in the series or anything like that. But MVP, I got LeBron winning the MVP this year just because much of the other guys who are stars have kind of built super teams. They're still trying to figure out who will be the guys on those teams a little bit there. And LeBron kind of controls every team that he's on anyways. So, I'm just going more of a safe bet there that he's going to be MVP. You guys have any MVP predictions? Something off the wall?
No.
TJ McCollum.
No. I mean, it's hard to pick any of the guys that were even in the race last year because I don't think Russ is going to win it. His numbers are going to go down. I don't think Kyrie wins it.
I don't think James Harden wins it because of Chris Paul.
I don't think anybody at Golden State wins it because they're going to all be good, which kind of is going to diminish the factor. And so, I mean, it's legitimately LeBron and then anybody else who's going to have a great year since the year hasn't started.
Antetokounmpo?
Joel Embiid, if he stays healthy, I mean, he can put up numbers. He just has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
John Wall.
John Wall. And there's some other guys, yeah. So we'll see kind of what happens. They're just kind of hard to pick a guy that's head and shoulders over anybody in the MVP race right now because of all the movement, all the stars kind of joining up a little bit there. But Kyrie could be an interesting one the way he does in Boston with Gordon Hayward if he gets what he can do out there in the East. Rookie of the Year, I was going back and forth between Lonzo and Ben Simmons. I went with Ben Simmons because I think he's going to lead 76ers to a playoff seed, so I'm going to take Ben Simmons as my Rookie of the Year this year, playing that point forward for the Sixers because they need someone to handle the ball. So, what do you guys think for Rookie of the Year?
I think it could go a lot of places, honestly, just because.
The guy who plays
His
for
class
Dallas.
was loaded.
Who's the guy for Dallas? Dennis Smith?
Dennis Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He's a freak.
Yeah,
He's like 6'3", and he gets up.
Yes, he's a freak athlete.
So yeah, I think it has to play out to like how each of the teams does. Because while yes, I still enjoy seeing each of the guys that do well. I mean, I think it's also going to matter how well your team does and how much you helped with it. If it's like rookie for the Cavs, like, hey guys, I'm on the Cavs, we're winning, or well, look, I'm on the Warriors. Look, we won 70 games, but how much did you play? So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because as you said, Lonzo has a chance, but it also depends on how good the Lakers are, because if they're not very good, then how much does that fall on him for that award?
That's definitely true there. So he's got a little bit of an uphill climb. One thing that could hurt Ben Simmons is having Markelle Fultz on his team as well. So 2 rookies there. They have Jason Tatum for Boston, but I think he's going to win it because there's going to be so much other talent there. He's going to have to fight for playing time, so his numbers won't be good enough for him to possibly win it. You have Josh Jackson in Phoenix probably going to put some big numbers up. De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento.
Sacramento has like four rookies, don't they?
Yeah,
Zach Collins. No, he was traded to.
He was traded to Portland. They got Justin
I hate that
Jackson.
they do this. They don't just put the team that's right there who has actual.
They got Justin Jackson, Harry Giles, and Frank Mason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Donovan Mitchell maybe for Utah Jazz. So we'll see.
Let's just name off all the first rounders.
No, I'm going off and on here.
I mean, they all have a legitimate shot at being.
Yeah.
That's how good this.
Well,
class was.
Brogdon was in the second round last year, wasn't he? So
Yes.
you don't even just have to name first round guys. Those guys can come in, and if it's in the right spot, then they can do well. Some guys just might not get off to a good start, and might ruin the entire campaign.
Yep. So definitely rookie of the year this year will be Dwayne Bacon. So we'll just go with that. Yeah, no one knows. Maybe I have no idea who's going to do it. So it should be interesting to see. But I'm going to go with Ben Simmons. I think he'd been number 1 pick in this year's draft too. He was hurt all last year. That's why he's going to be rookie of the year this year, up for the award at least, and I think he's going to do a little more than what Fultz does for Philly in his first year there in Lonzo Ball. Might struggle a little bit there in L.A. And there's a lot of pressure for him to perform well after all the talk that his father has had over him coming into the season. And then Coach of the Year, I got Brad Stevens for Boston. I think he's going to be able to mold that roster to what he wants it to be.
Should have won it last year.
Who did win it last year?
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, let's take out the coach.
Steve Kerr didn't even coach half the season.
Well, I mean, that was, yeah.
The only thing I may have voted for Eric Spoelstra last year just because my team was not good. They still won 41 games.
In the East, though.
Yeah, but they had a bad roster. They should not have been 141. They almost made the playoffs there, so they've been close. But I think Brad Stevens might be the best coach in the NBA. It's kind of what your view of the coach of the year is. Is it the best coach? Is it the guy who makes the most with the worst roster? Is it the guy who can keep stars in their place a little bit and they can still win a lot of games? It's kind of hard to. Everybody has their own little different thing with coach of the year. There, and I think Phil Jackson only won 1 coach of the year award, so it's not like it's a barometer for who's actually the greatest coaches in the league. And I think the guy who used to coach the Lakers, he has 1, and he was an awful coach. It's really escaping my mind right now. He used to play for the Lakers. He was there for Kobe's last year. Bryson Scott. What's his name? I can't remember his name now.
Byron Scott?
Byron Scott, yes.
He was a bad
He won a Coach of the Year award.
I don't know how.
Exactly. So, there we go. Thank you guys, Byron Scott. Yeah, he won a Coach of the Year award. So, it's not really saying that if you win that, you're definitely a good coach. That's not how this works. Mike D'Antoni was also a good candidate last year for what he did with Houston. So, that's what we got for the NBA. The season starts Tuesday. I know Boston and Cleveland are supposed to play. LeBron is questionable for that game. He has a ankle injury, so he's going to be questionable right now. But I think he's going to play just because it's Boston. He wants to prove something there versus their biggest foe in the East and his ex-teammate Kyrie Irving. And then also the Rockets play the Warriors in Oracle.
A
So
lot of good matchups this first week of basketball.
yeah, two good games there to start on TNT on Tuesday. Of course, the Celtics and Cavs start at 7. Rockets Warriors at 9:30. So, actually something to watch on Tuesdays now instead of just me trying to find something on Hulu or Netflix. Yes, there's sports on.
I mean, there's still going to be some playoff baseball, but hey, I'm just saying it's good. It's good stuff to watch sometimes.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. I did tune into a little bit of baseball last night, so I will say that. It was nice.
Why does Cleveland blow every lead they ever had?
It's kind of what they do.
It's something about the town, honestly. It must be the water or something, because it's a whole.
Honestly, if they didn't have LeBron on their team, they're probably not winning in the
Town
playoffs.
full of losers.
Besides LeBron, he brought that city a title, which already makes him the GOAT. So I'm kidding. That is not making the GOAT. There's other reasons.
Maybe they go to Cleveland.
I mean, it's not hard to
Yeah,
go to Cleveland. Let's be
Go to
honest.
Cleveland. Let's be honest here. Also, want to remind everybody today is Jersey Day for X106. I got my Damian Lillard jersey on right now. Sean, you're going to put a jersey on later, I hope.
Yeah, they're in my bag. I just didn't want to walk here in the morning with the jersey on.
That's fair, I guess. So make sure you guys send a picture of yourself in your jersey, your favorite jersey, to X106_sports on Twitter. We'll try to get you on the show this afternoon. Weekend Sports Kickoff. We'll maybe get a picture of you on there and give you a shout out. I know, Jordan, you're wearing a Jersey shirt. What do you got on today?
Rajon Rondo, Celtics.
There you go. Classic Rondo with the Celtics, part of their big four.
He's a bad man.
They were good back in the day with that iteration of the Celtics. So we'll take a quick break with Bruno Mars. When we come back, we'll talk some NFL here on the Friday Take. Welcome back into Friday Take. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Jordan Riley and Sean Nienow today as Luke went home for the weekend. But we're talking some NFL now. Last night, a pretty good Thursday night football game between the Eagles and the Panthers. Eagles won 28-23.
I didn't know we could actually have a good Thursday game.
I still don't like Thursday night games, but this was good.
I mean, I'll actually care about next week's, but...
Well, yeah, it's a good game next week.
Who do Chiefs play?
Oakland, Thursday night football. So, should be interesting to see if Derek Carr will be back for that game.
He probably... I mean, he could be back this weekend.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah,
So
I know.
we'll
I was kind of hoping he wouldn't play.
Yeah,
but
for a little bit longer.
I mean, at this point, he might still have the injury. And he's like, oh, I can play through the pain. Well, Justin Houston just hit him in the back. Pretty simple. You just take him out of the game.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But last night, Carson Wentz leads the Eagles to a win on the road over the Panthers. As we said in the break, Christian McCaffrey is doing worlds of things in fantasy football by not running the ball at all, just catching the ball out of the backfield and just racking up PPR points with catches, pretty much. 10 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. Pretty much all he had in the air, and then he had like 4 yards rushing. So nice job there by McCaffrey. A couple bad luck interceptions last night by Cam Newton, including that screen pass to, I think, Jonathan Stewart that went through his hands. He deflected up in the air, picked off. Like, that was just unlucky for the Panthers.
Jonathan Stewart played awful last night.
Yes. So we'll see how much longer he gets all those snaps there for the Panthers before they give way to Christian McCaffrey and other guys there on that team. I did like the play that Carolina ran there with that little triple option with Cam Newton, pretty much.
For the touchdown?
Yeah, and Carolina, the Philly was completely confused on what to do, so that was always interesting. Cam Newton needs the ball up in space. He's fun to watch there. So he almost had another really good touchdown run later in the game where he dove for the pylon. They need better angles there for the cameras there at the end zone. You need to have one right down the line and one right down the goal line. If they had the one on the goal line, it's just the one down the sideline. You couldn't quite tell where the ball crossed the pylon. Because it went over the pylon. It just, was it inside the field of play or outside? Because if it's like that and you're diving for the pylon, it has to be inside the pylon for it to count for a touchdown. It doesn't extend all the way for something like that. It does if your feet are still in, but it does not if you are up in the air like that. So that's one of the things where it's difficult to tell with that. So
there's not many players in the NFL,
he's a freak athlete,
let alone
though.
quarterbacks that can do that. He was stretched out all the way for that.
Yeah.
Yep, so nice job last night by the Eagles. Their defense is still really good. 3 interceptions last night with Cam Newton. So
I saw a stat this morning for the Eagles defense.
Yes.
There's only been one running back that they faced that has rushed for over 35 yards.
And he's the best back in the league.
That's pretty much. I saw that stat, I was like, huh, that's really interesting. I mean, the Eagles defense and, well, both of their lines are very good. I mean, right now they're poised to win the NFC East because, I mean, the Cowboys may be without Zeke for a while. The Giants probably not going to win a game with the way things have happened, and the Redskins they're just gonna be average.
Yeah, pretty much as far as Kirk Cousins can take him a little bit there on offense and make plays late. So it'd be interesting to see how the East settles out. The South is still pretty tough because you'll have Carolina at 4-2. The Saints look better this year than they have in the past. Tampa Bay's still decent, and then you have Atlanta, the defending NFC champion. So they just got 4 really good quarterbacks down there, or at least decent quarterbacks. So we'll see what happens there with the South. Other games are going on this weekend that are of note that we're going to be talking about later on the weekend sports kickoff as well. The first game will be the Packers at the Vikings, noon on Fox. Packers are a 3-point favorite. So that should be interesting to see how the works will be. Case Keenum going for the Vikings because Sam Bradford's hurt again. So, interesting how that goes. Well, hello, Trevor. Glad you do the show. Late edition here, Trevor Maeder.
Trevor, you walked into the studio. You can't walk into the studio and be like, "Oh, I didn't want to go on air." No. There is an on-air indicator. This is your fault, Trevor.
Well, I got out of class early, so I thought I would come see what's going on.
All right.
Flash the party. That's what you want to do.
We're in 4-man crew now. This is great. Well, we just talked about the game last night with Philly versus Carolina. Cam Newton, inconsistent, but he still made a couple of nice plays last night. Then we're going to the games today. They're going to happen on Sunday. Packers, Vikings, Lions at Saints, Buccaneers at Cardinals, Jaguars at Rams is a surprisingly good matchup. Chargers, Raiders, and of course the Chiefs and the Steelers. New England's got the Jets this week, so that should not. Even though they're both 3-2, we all know who's actually good in that matchup.
Yeah, we know who the real 3-2 team is. There's some interesting matchups this week.
The Patriots are 9-point road favorites over the 3-2.
You mentioned Lions Saints. I think we could see a lot of points in that game.
Over-under is 50.
Yeah, I might take the over on that.
Who made that line?
I mean, it wasn't me, because I would have added more. But I mean, all of the that one's not the Bears and the Ravens is 39.5, but the other ones are all like 45. Okay, and the Rams and Jaguars, but they have defenses. Oh yeah, the Chargers and Raiders I guess doesn't have a line.
Yeah, there's Colts Titans.
Like that game doesn't even know where it's going to be played.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because the air quality in Oakland, certainly interesting to see if that game gets moved. I thought they were going to have an announcement, I think today, about it at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. Oakland's a dumpster fire, so we'll see what happens. With that, I want to remind everybody today is Jersey Day here for X106. You don't have to be a part of X106. Just send your picture into X106_sports on Twitter, and we'll give you a retweet and maybe put you on air for our afternoon show. Weekend Sport Kickoff will be on TV as well for KWT Channel 8. We're going to see if we can't get a few people on there to kind of get this to spread a little bit for Jersey Day. I know I'm wearing Damian Lillard right now. Jordan's wearing Rajon Rondo from the Boston Celtics. Trevor, what'd your poll end up being for?
I would actually have to check the official results.
You're ready for this.
When I went to bed last night, I believe Giordano Ventura was comfortably in the lead. So, barring any bizarreness, I would say, yep, final votes, 40%, Giordano Ventura.
All right.
So,
Rip Ace. Sean, what jersey are you going to wear today? You have multiple, don't you?
I have multiple jerseys today.
What do you...
I have one baseball and 3 basketballs. We'll see what comes out first.
I have like 8 more jerseys in the office over there.
Yeah,
so.
we gotta hang half
I have
of them
about
up.
12 in my car right now.
Awesome. We go full out on Jersey Day, Jordan. You don't understand. We go full out. This is our favorite day of the year, and it's also Friday the 13th. So Jersey Day on Friday the 13th should be awesome. So fun here. X106. Any other games you guys want to... Any bold prediction? Anybody have a hot take here for this weekend's games?
Oh,
Jets beat the Patriots, anything like that?
I wouldn't go that far.
Browns beat the Texans in Houston.
I wouldn't go that far either.
Niners beating the Washington Redskins in Washington.
Maybe. The Niners have been playing teams close. I mean,
Dolphins going to Atlanta and winning.
New York beating Denver.
The Bills did.
Oh, there's the hottest one of all.
I think, yeah, New York without.
After they signed Chad Ochocinco and Trello as
That
receivers.
would be the greatest thing ever.
That would be awesome.
I'd buy a jersey. I really would.
Yeah, I think the best game that maybe has upset potential is maybe San Francisco, Washington, just because you look at the way San Francisco's been playing. Yeah, they're 0-5, but they might be the best of the 0-5 teams because with the exception, for what that's worth, with the exception of the Carolina game, they played Seattle real close. They played Los Angeles real close. They played Arizona real close. They played the Colts real close. All those games kind of came down to the wire. Granted, we don't really know what to think of the Cardinals and Colts right now because they don't look very good.
Yeah.
But
and also, you're saying the Niners competition right now for the best winless team is with the Browns and the Giants. So it's not like we're saying they're actually good. It's just
and the best winless team is kind of an oxymoron, I guess, because they're still winless. But the way they're playing, I mean, their last 4 losses have came by 3 points or less.
Sounds like a Chargers.
Yeah, there's something in the water in California, I think, that makes you lose close games.
Bad, except for Warriors, but
Rams doing all right now.
So we'll see what happens there with that. Also, Trubisky getting a second start versus the Baltimore Ravens.
He actually didn't look bad against the Vikings.
It's a good defense who he played against.
Yeah.
He plays other decent defense this week with Baltimore, so we'll see what happens with Trubisky. So a lot of decent matchups here that are kind of odd that we wouldn't usually see, but like the Rams-Jaguars, we were like, earlier this year, I was like, that game's going to be on TV. Like, really? But now it's like, hey, these two teams are actually decent. I like the Rams in that game, though.
Me too.
So we'll see how Jacksonville can keep it up. Then Houston versus Cleveland. Now Houston's a 9.5 points favorite. I might take Cleveland on the points in that one, just because I don't like giving up points.
How many people in Cleveland right now are kicking themselves for not drafting Deshaun Watson?
Everybody should be.
Yeah.
I think they're at the point if we would have taken him, he would have been bad. So I think no matter what,
I think that's where we're at with Cleveland. I think it doesn't matter who Cleveland drafts. I think they're just going to be bad because they're in Cleveland.
I think it might be the point we're at too, unless they get. I don't think Bill Belichick could save them because he didn't. They were still bad when he was there. So, so a lot of interesting matchups this week, and in the NFL, we'll just keep right here. We're going to college football real quick to see what's happening in the world there. Let's see what games we were going to talk about today. Weekend's going to kick off Texas Tech, number 24 in the nation, at West Virginia. That's a big matchup in the Big 12. Yes, what's the over-under on that one, Sean?
That's got to be
A lot.
probably
72.5.
I'll take the over.
75.
I'll take the over.
Yeah,
That is
only
making so like a 59-52 game.
Yes, let's
One of those
go.
barn burners with that patented.
It's going to be
Big 12
24-21.
Yeah, there's going to be the most defense you've ever seen. Like, it's just 9-7. Wow. I didn't see, guys. We were wrong. Like, oh.
I will be really disappointed. It's
That's
11.
also true.
It's 11 a.m. kickoff too, so get
A
a
lot
wake
of points
up.
early.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go to 2:30 on CBS and see some defense, you have number 10 Auburn at LSU. I don't know if it's defense or just lack of
I
offense.
was like, it might be a lack of
I think it's
offense for
both. I
one
think it's
side
good
of it.
defense, bad offense.
So,
This is a game that kind of scares me because teams don't go down to LSU and win very
unless
often.
you're Troy.
But well, Troy lost to
South Alabama.
South
It was
Alabama.
one. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, teams don't go down to LSU and win. But again, this is a different LSU team. They're not as good. They went down to Florida last week and won. So I'm not even sure where this game's going to go. I'm going to pick Auburn, but I would not be surprised to see LSU pull out the upset because why not?
Weird things happen. And also, you cannot pick SEC teams, SEC games that save your life, Sean.
I can't pick games.
I haven't been able to pick games that save my
Let's
life.
not beat around the bush. I can't pick games.
The one game I find interesting is well, there's quite a few of them. Oklahoma, Texas.
I was
Oklahoma.
going to get to that one, yeah.
How mad is Oklahoma going to be after last week?
Well, let's ask our Oklahoma fan here, Jordan. How mad are you about the Iowa State
I knew it was
game?
going to happen eventually because we lose to an unranked team every year. So
You just didn't think it'd be at home to Iowa State.
No, I thought it'd be Texas.
Well, they got Texas this week in Dallas, the Cotton Bowl, 2:30 kickoff on ESPN. Should be interesting there right now.
Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, that's where they play
Yeah,
it.
it's actually
At the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, that's where they
Stadium.
play it. Oklahoma's a 9-point favorite. I will take Texas in the points in that one because I think Oklahoma wins, but I think it's going to be close at the end. And all Oklahoma fans are like, we should be blowing this team out right now. We're not.
We're going to blow them out. Get back in the rankings.
Wasn't there a couple of years ago that Oklahoma put like 60 on Texas? Or am I just...
Texas is better this year. We'll see.
Was it Charlie Strong's first year?
Texas
Mac
said that every
Brown's?
year.
I think Texas, they're actually improving like week to week. They're actually getting better. They played USC tough. They beat K-State last week. That first week versus Maryland was a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouth with Texas. I think they've really improved since that time. I think they're going to be they're going to push Oklahoma this week in its rivalry matchup. I think it's going to be closer.
Texas has one of the better defenses.
Yes, they
in
do.
the Big 12.
So we'll see.
Devin, quick question.
Yes.
Who's going to score more points? Arkansas on Alabama or Missouri on Georgia?
Missouri.
Ugh,
No.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Push.
So they're going to score the So
I think-
they're both going to
well,
score
I
like
think-
three? Okay.
I would say Arkansas and Alabama because
I don't trust
No.
Arkansas.
This is not which out of those games is going to score more. This is Arkansas or
I would take Arkansas.
Okay. That's
I
fine.
trust Arkansas's.
Not against Alabama's defense, though. They match up perfectly to not score points versus Alabama.
They're just number 4 in the nation. I didn't see this coming. I didn't even know it until I actually looked at my screen. I mean, I think I talked about it on the podcast with Jacob Blair.
Yeah.
Could you have two teams from the SEC make it? Because I think that would be the only division.
Someone had a hot take on Wednesday about that.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. Someone may or may not have had a hot take on our Wednesday sports kickoff that you did not go to.
I had class. Sorry,
Yeah,
I have
so
to.
so
sorry,
did-
I have to graduate. It's my bad, Trevor.
That is all your bad.
No, I think at some point you're going to see two teams from a conference get in. Like, it's going to happen.
Tell people at home who you picked to win the SEC this year now.
I went on a hot take and picked Georgia to win the SEC. Because you look at their schedule, and it's
Yeah,
pretty
but they have to
favorable.
play Alabama.
Yeah,
He has to
they
beat
get Alabama
Alabama.
in the SEC championship game. But when you look at it, Kirby Smart, their head coach at Alabama or Georgia, he might be the one guy that knows how to work that Alabama defense because it
I
was
don't know,
his
man.
defense.
Alabama just seems to not be able to lose.
I trust the master over the students.
Yeah.
I do too.
But
Very
you didn't.
hypothetical.
You're taking Kirby.
Yeah, but
You
I don't-
literally are taking Georgia.
That doesn't mean
in
I
the
trust him. It
championship
means
game.
I'm picking him. It doesn't mean I trust him. I don't.
You trust him not to pick
Georgia,
him.
Georgia will probably. After I said that, Georgia will probably lose to Mizzou this week. But I just like what I've seen from Georgia so far. And one of these years, a team with one loss is going to get in. And you throw in now, like, if even Georgia runs a table and they're ranked 2, you should probably get number 1 versus number 2 in that situation.
Clemson.
And if Clemson wins out. But so you get the situation where you have Alabama, Georgia. Even if Alabama beats Georgia, maybe Georgia gets in with a one-loss Oklahoma, and who knows what the Big Ten is going to look like. Because when you look at losses, you go, okay, well, Georgia's one loss is to Alabama, unless it's a complete obliteration. But if they lose to Alabama by a field goal, you go, okay, well, they lost to Alabama, but Oklahoma lost to Ohio State.
Iowa
Penn State,
Iowa
or
State.
Iowa State, yeah.
The other power in the Big Ten.
Penn State lost to
Not really.
Minnesota or Purdue, or I don't even know what the rest of their schedule's like. And Washington lost to Arizona State. I don't know what their schedule's like either. You could make the argument that Georgia would have the better loss.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to see there. Also, as Sean said, catch us on YouTube, search X106 Sports. You can find our podcast there. So you can always find us there. Also, get us on Twitter at X106_sports, as well as today's Jersey Day. So make sure you send your picture of yourself and your favorite jersey to our Twitter account. We'll retweet it, give you a shout out on the show later on this afternoon. So one more game that's decent in the ACC before we get completely off topic. Georgia Tech at number 11 Miami. I know.
That was postponed from last night to tomorrow, wasn't it?
Yes. 2:30 kickoff on ABC.
Why exactly was it postponed from Thursday to
I don't know.
Saturday?
I'm all for it though.
I got one other game that catches my eye just because I want
Utah at USC.
Actually, yeah, that too.
7
Just so I
o'clock
want
on
to see how
ABC.
it goes.
Baylor, Oklahoma State.
No, that
Navy, Memphis.
Baylor's been playing better though.
Ohio State, Nebraska.
Yes, because
Why?
Nebraska is a 24-point underdog at home, which is the first time that has ever happened.
And that might be not have points.
Yeah, the anti-Nebraska fan in me is hoping that 24 is not enough. But at the same time, there's a thing in the back of my head going, Nebraska always finds a way to win weird games at home that they shouldn't, or at least play
True,
close.
but Ohio State is so much more athletic on the outside.
And they don't match up with Nebraska's defense does not match up with Ohio State at all. Like if this
No.
was Michigan coming as a 24-point favorite, I would go, okay, I think Nebraska is going to cover the points and maybe a chance to win. Ohio State's probably going to ruffle stomp Nebraska.
It was only 62-3 last year.
Only.
That was great. That was greatness. Calling Nebraska fans earlier, we should be a top 5 team. No, you shouldn't. You lost to Wisconsin, Ohio State back-to-back weeks, and they finally just stopped talking for a while and just started. Well, you know what? Back in '97, shut up, Nebraska fans. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. They get tired of that. Oregon also plays Stanford, Pac-12 after dark.
I
Washington
love
does play Arizona
Pac-12
State this
after
week, so you had
dark.
that.
It's such a good time to just sit at home, watch a team get beaten down. Feels good.
Boise plays at San Diego State.
Oh, that's a good matchup.
The Aztecs are about a touchdown favorite.
So I found out why Georgia Tech Miami was postponed. This is from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Remember Hurricane Irma?
Yep.
They had to
Okay.
postpone the Florida State game
Yep.
to September 16th, from September 16th to October 7th. The ACC requires teams playing on Thursdays to have equal or full rest.
Okay,
Okay.
So
so unlike the NFL, they actually want teams to be fully prepared for their
Yeah.
games that they play.
yeah,
I like
they don't want a team hosting Pittsburgh on Sunday and then traveling to Oakland on Thursday night. They don't want that or
Yeah,
anything.
jerks. So
Makes sense.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. Also, Michigan, they lost last week. They have to go to Indiana this week, so we'll see that. Another big matchup in the Big 12 is
For Indiana.
number 6 TCU at K-State. Another interesting matchup there. Games on the night. We will have Clemson at Syracuse and Washington State at Cal. So that's what's going on tonight in college football. Clemson is a 24-point favorite at Syracuse, and Washington is a 16.5-point favorite at Cal. So right now, Clemson over Syracuse is the same spread as Ohio State, Nebraska.
Yeah, but Syracuse is in Nebraska, and they don't pretend to be.
Go Orange. So we'll see what happens there.
Never heard a Syracuse fan remind me about the 90s 12 times.
No, it's
They
it's
can
all about
remind you-
basketball.
yeah.
It's like Kansas. Like, wait till basketball season.
Hey, Well, with stuff that may be going down in Kansas, I don't even know if
Might
I can
not
say
be a
that.
basketball
Though,
team.
there is something that's happening between Kansas and Missouri.
About time Kansas stopped running.
Well, I mean, it's an exhibition game. So, I mean, there's an exhibition game between Kansas and Missouri. What is it, Sunday the 22nd?
I think so.
They're playing an exhibition game.
Sprint Center.
Yeah, it hasn't been announced officially, but it really has.
Yeah, I know what sources told 8-10 last night or whatever it was down in Kansas City.
That, hey, we have a block open from 3 to 5:30. What's it going to be? We don't know. And so I think Kansas and Missouri are going to have an announcement later today. And, I mean, I think this is exciting because the only other time these teams are going to actually play is
Postseason basketball.
postseason. I think Bill Self has, got himself into a perfect spot where he doesn't have to do it. He can just sit there and be like, nah. He himself, I do want the teams to play because I think it's a good thing to go back to, but I think Bill Self has too much power. He's like, nah, I just don't want to do it. Like, why?
Yeah, they keep running away from Wichita State. Why would they play Mizzou?
Why would
I mean,
I
why
play
would you
Mizzou?
play your probably the next best program in state or your
Yeah, I can't.
border
Kansas State
rival?
somehow somewhat they're like, oh, we'll be a team that gets into the tournament, but well, you're not really that great.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Wichita State's a better program right now, and Kansas won't play them. And I don't care what Kansas fans. It's not beneficial for us. Yes, it's not beneficial to play an in-state rival, possibly.
I mean, it's not beneficial to pay Troy to beat you either.
Exactly.
But
It's like there's no way that you can't. There's no way they convince me. What's the upside? Well, you're playing an in-state rival, so you could probably bring in money in between the game because you're bringing in a new rivalry.
That's kind of like the thing that
What's the
Iowa
downside?
versus Iowa State, they will never kill that game.
That is, but when you look at football, though, it's a completely different spectrum from football to basketball. Because if Kansas loses to Wichita State, they're still going to get in the tournament, even if they're 29-3.
I would say you don't know that, but I mean
They're going to.
They've been
If Iowa
goes
goes
every year.
if Iowa goes 11-1 and beats Ohio State and beats Penn State, but loses to Iowa State, there's a chance they may not get in.
Well, I mean, Iowa State's also been a really good team. So
Yeah, you don't gain anything from playing Wichita State, but you really don't lose anything
Except
either.
for maybe a good out-of-conference win. Or if you lose, it's still a decent out-of-conference loss. So it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
You can it's a money grab. You want to play on a neutral site, you can. If you want to play at home stadiums, you can. I don't understand where it's there's no benefit to us playing Wichita State. Horse crap. I hate that, Kansas fans. You're like, well, you know what? There's no benefit. Yes, but you play North Carolina Central is so beneficial to your program.
Kansas
God,
gets to play
that makes me
Kentucky in about a
angry.
month, so that'll be
God, it
something,
makes me
and
angry.
The rest of the games don't matter. Oh.
And maybe this is all the point of Taylor Dameron. I'm going to say I'm going to substitute. This is
Calling
all
him
Taylor
out,
Dameron.
I was like, I'll defend him, but there's a point where it's I understand both sides of it, but I think one side's stronger than the other, and why people should and shouldn't do it. But I don't know. It's still exciting for this exhibition game.
Hopefully, this can lead to something more with these two teams. Because even if you play at Sprint Center, it's still going to be a money grab for both schools, and I'm okay with that because I want to just see the rival. Even though as a Mizzou fan, I know we're going to get our butts kicked most times by
Not this
Kansas.
year. I think this year is going to be interesting.
Exactly, which is why they won't play us this year. It's fine.
I've
The 1 year we actually get decent, we'll hold off for a year.
the exhibition game. So.
Maybe next year. Okay, fine. We'll get Raffle Stomp by 40, but it's fine. Raffle Stomp, we're bringing it back, Trevor.
Ruffle Stomp, what we patented on last Saturday's game. I don't know how that happened. Trevor just misspoke, and it was interesting. Or I misspoke.
I think you said Raffle Stomp, and Max felt like he needed to chime in. And
because he
I
needed
could
some
tell.
food or something.
I could tell we were on pace to spend the rest of the pregame show talking about raffle stomping, and there were some points about the Northwest defense that I wanted to bring up. So,
Yeah, we just want to make sure that here for Kansas schedule, it's much more beneficial to play Tennessee State, South Dakota State, Texas Southern, Oakland, Toledo, Syracuse,
Yeah.
Hey,
and
there's
Nebraska,
two-
Omaha,
Hey,
and then
there's like
Wichita
2 or 3
State.
tournament teams in there. I think Texas Southern was a tournament team last year. Was Oakland a tournament team, maybe?
They weren't last year, but they have been in the past.
Yeah, South Dakota State's been a tournament team. Those are good programs.
Nebraska,
yeah.
Omaha.
Okay, now.
Nebraska, Omaha will be interesting because they lost a lot from last year. They were, but still, it's not Wichita State. I get what
You're
saying.
getting my point, though. Is
Yeah.
let's play Toledo over Wichita State because it's so much more beneficial to our program. Yes, Pat wins.
Hey, we played Kentucky. That's all we got to say.
I'll give you that one. Good job.
Yeah, well, it's
Don't
gonna
run for Wichita State.
I don't want
Did anyone see Calipari's
Get out coached by
comments?
Greg Marshall.
Well,
Good
we
media.
haven't even mentioned on the show that, so North Carolina had all their student-athlete stuff going on, and the NCAA was like,
They're all great student athletes.
nope, we don't see anything wrong here. Nothing's wrong. Everything that was done for the student-athletes could have been done by the regular student population. It's like, I don't understand. So you're just going to let them get away with academic fraud. Thank you, NCAA. You are the shining light in my day.
Dean went to Calipari's comments at it was SEC Media Day or whatever it was.
Yeah, he pretty much said, like, someone started asking him about the Nike stuff. Now they're investigating. He's like, I'm not answering that question. And then they started asking. He's like, I'm not answering that question. Like, Coach, we can ask you. This is Media Day, not Coach's Day. Like, they were
He
going back and forth.
Jerk about it.
Well, I'm sure he just didn't want to answer it. 'Cause he
Yeah.
didn't want to, but I'm sure if you didn't want to, be like, you just say no comment multiple times
Yeah,
over
there's
again.
other ways to go about that than being a total jerk.
Yes, he can go straight Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I mean, you can go straight, make a comedy out of it. I mean, you can do other things and just say a straight jerk about it. So that's also Brian Kelly's thing. So some coaches are just that way. They just don't want to talk about certain things, and not much you can do about it. So
We didn't talk about this earlier, but what do you think about the NBA possibly reseeding the playoffs? It's a top 16.
well, I believe that if
Is that top
some of
15
the
overall?
if
Overall, but we
Which
don't-
means
If
you could have
what-
an East versus East, West versus West. Okay, East versus East, I don't think it could happen right now, but it could. But
Well-
it could.
what would be interesting is if the rumors are true and LeBron leaves this year and goes to the Lakers, and the Eastern Conference is Boston Celtics and a wasteland of teams.
You have 15 Western Conference teams and then the Celtics.
No, you'll have some team like Milwaukee sneak in as a playoff. I mean, they won't be good playoff teams, but they'll be in there. So they might have to like that's like wait. So all of our stars besides Kyrie and Antetokounmpo are in the West.
So could you get
maybe and Joel Embiid?
So
Maybe we need to change this.
Could you get a West-West NBA Finals then?
Yes,
Or how
you
would
could.
that? So you could get Golden State,
Houston?
Lakers, or Houston, or whoever.
Yeah, I mean,
LeBron's though.
I would rather see that than like see like the Lakers or see the Celtics get blown out in 4. It's like, oh, well, I mean that was cool, but the
That was
actual
cool.
finals matchup happened in the Western Conference Finals. So thanks for wasting my time. Have the championship.
And so it's been like that way in the past, but I think it's going to get even more and more skewed every year. I think the East was on their way to evening it up a little bit last year. Then they traded Paul George and Jimmy Butler both to the West, and it's like, well, Carmelo's also gone, so it's 3 of your best stars are all just got shipped West. So great. Now we're going to have Kemba Walker, and
Sure.
guys like that in the All-Star game versus guys like Damian Lillard not making it in the West because it's stacked. So.
They did change the All-Star game.
I wish they would change it to the best players, not just from each conference. They still have it. So many teams from the West, so many players from the East making it. I wish it would just be the best players in the NBA make it, and then they reseed it after we can vote after that. I think that's probably the best way to do it because you still have guys like I like Kemba Walker, I like some other guys in the East, but they should make it an All-Star over a Damian Lillard or even a Mike Conley at times. I mean, some of these guys in the West are really good. But they're just stuck behind Curry, Westbrook, and Chris Paul. It's hard to break through that.
What I want to see is when you have the draft. Someone was certain like the captains this year are probably going to be KD and LeBron or Steph and LeBron. But I want to see it be like KD and LeBron have to draft Kyrie Irving and KD draft Russ. Like wouldn't that be funny?
No, I think it would be the funnier thing is if KD and LeBron are captains, and KD drafts Kyrie and LeBron drafts Westbrook just to be petty towards each other, so they have to play like just to be
That's it.
mass petty because that's all the NBA is. I love it. It's all mass subtweeting petty. It's great.
signing largest NBA
NBA
contract
players.
extensions on your rival's birthday. Like, isn't that just awesome?
NBA players are more petty than high school girls.
It's great.
Some of them, I think you can make an argument that some high school girls, but for some of the players, they plan out exactly what they're doing. Come on, Devin, start right over there. But there is, like Trevor said, there is a specific reason that he signed the contract on Katie's birthday. He doesn't just randomly walk in like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to sign my extension.
I think it was kind of like
He had it on
him
his desk
saying-
for months.
I think it was. I think it was kind of him saying, you know, you were coward enough to leave, and here I am. I'm gonna brave this storm, and I'm gonna make this my team. And
Yeah, well, I mean now he has like friends there too.
yeah,
You know,
they're gonna play no defense this year.
that's fine if
Between
they.
him and Paul, I mean, they're gonna win games like
If you
180
outscore
to
people,
No, they
you
have
still win.
Paul George and Adams will play defense. Roberson can't play offense, so he has to play defense.
He's a good defender, but he cannot shoot.
Remember I guess it was the preseason. I saw the highlight of Chris Paul after he left him wide open on the wing,
Missed.
and then he said, "Hell nah," and he's airball, and he's like, "No, we're gonna go the other way now."
Robertson also airballed a free throw this preseason. So, yeah.
We might
I
see.
think I saw that.
If you're a 40-some% free throw shooter as a guard, that might be a
You might need to
problem.
rethink your career path. Like, well, Maybe I shouldn't, I should just get a little bit of boosters in my feet, just be a little bit taller, because you can't shoot.
he can't. He is there for strict defense.
That playoff series against Houston
Oh, it was
made me
bad.
hate him so much. I don't think you understand.
They just left him so wide open.
He could not
They
make
literally did not guard him.
They were intentionally fouling him in the first quarter because he could not make a free throw.
That's why I'm okay with intentional fouling, because if you can't make a free throw by the time you get to the NBA, that's on you. Like, at that point, you have
Just
one
go to
job,
the
is to play
gym.
professional basketball.
Just go to the gym. I feel like you can
a
iron
who's
it
been
out.
playing basketball for 15 years can't make a free throw.
And play it
And
daily, shoot
I
around,
don't have
shooting
as
all
big of a
day.
problem with the big guys missing free throws. What I
He's a
find
guard.
funny is when you get a guy like Josh Jackson, who's
Hey, he got that number up. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, but like guys that have to shoot the ball to like play, if you can't make a free throw, get off the court. Pretty simple, because there are going to be times where you're just not.
Like, I get it, like high school, college, you're not everybody's not going to be a great shooter. You have other things you have to do. You can't spend all your time. But when you get to the NBA, that is your job, is to be able to put a ball in a hoop.
That's the only job.
And like, yes, I get that he's a great defender, but you know what? That shouldn't take up 7 of your 8 hours of practice time. You should be using 7 of 8 to work
Clearly,
on your...
he didn't like focus on it. He's like, oh, I'm just going to focus on defense for the day. Yeah, I think you should focus on free throws. Coach, I don't understand why. Well, you're shooting like 40%. Oh, no, it'll be good. I'll just...
And not from 3, from the free throw line.
No.
Being
His
unguarded.
percentage from three is worse than that.
I know, it's like 15%. It's awful. It's like, he can't shoot.
I think he's going to lose a lot of playing time now that they got Paul George, though.
Yeah, they'll have to... The only thing that might help him is like, you know what? We have 3 guys who can score. We'll leave you out there so you can play defense to help those guys on the other end. That might be the only thing that saves his playing time.
He shouldn't play at all in the fourth quarter. Because all they're going to do is hack him.
You're not wrong.
it's like
So-
the old hack-a-shack.
Yeah, but at least
Heck,
Shaq can
Andre.
make some.
I mean, at the same point, it's like when they play the Detroit Pistons would be heck Andre either way. Just hack Drummond, hack Roberson.
Hack-a-Howard.
Hack a Jordan.
Yeah,
They're
that's,
all-
yeah. They play DeAndre Jordan. Both
Those
teams
guys
hack.
are literally staring at the rim when they shoot it. And they cannot, like, looking down into the rim.
Like, if you have to go granny style,
You know
Do
what?
it.
do it. If it works, whatever's effective at this point. I don't even care if it looks weird. If you get made fun of on social media, who cares? You're gonna make fun of it anyways for missing a free throw if you airball it by 3 feet.
Throw it like quarterback style into the rim. If you have to. Like, these
Like
guys.
Tim Tebow quarterback style, or
Shot put it. Shot put
Side
it.
arm.
I mean, it just gets to the point. It's like, come on, man. Like,
come on, man.
that's a great ESPN segment, but we can't really steal that. So I think it's frowned upon. Also, just remind everybody, today is Jersey Day. Send your pictures of yourself in your jerseys to @X106_sports. We'll try to get you on this afternoon on WSK. 2 to 5, we'll try to get a picture of you on there. We'll try to get as many as possible. Of course, we all have our jerseys for today. So that's it for today's show. A little bit extra, but we always do here this morning. You guys know this. So we will see you this afternoon from 2 to 5 for the weekend sports kickoff, and of course next Friday. I will still do the show next Friday. I don't know if you'll be here for walkout day. We're still doing our shows next Friday because it's talking sports. It's not actual like hard work, like class for some people. So that's all we got for today here on Friday Take.